Do you remember?
Oh, I remember all. For sure.
Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and if someone stole my computer, they might know it's you. I don't know. Because it is, as a digital photographer, you do end up with a filing system in a sense where you have to. It's important to know what it was because that gives it some integrity. Because it gives the title some integrity. All these titles are it alludes to the object, but it's only, or it alludes to the situation. That's it. It isn't like moonrise over. You know, it's not. I don't title that way.
Thomas, do you find, like, just in terms of the color palette at any particular time, that there's a link between dominant color fields you're working with and your emotional state at the time?
You know, that's a good point. This might say a lot about me in terms of where I was at when I did this. That's a good point. It's probably very true. And I don't know if there's any colors that jump out more than others. I've shot more than this, but you know, I guess you want to show the cream of the crop. But it's almost like when you're doing these sort of photographs. And as photographers, you might know that it feels good to your eye. It feels good when you do something. It's almost like a little therapy where that felt good to my eye. It felt good to do that. You know, it's almost. I've always liked the camera more than the darkroom. And now that I'm in the digital world, I love the camera more than the computer. And the computer is like a darkroom, but in a sense, the computer is just get these to the printer. You know, make sure it's right the way you want it, but get it into paper because that's the bottom line. As we know, you know those files are locked on your computer, and if you're not around to get them out, who's going to do them, right? So you know you want to make, and as you get older, you want to start making more and more stuff. You want to have it out there. That's why books are so precious. They show a body of your work.
I find scale is just perfect for the image. You know, I'm just wondering how you decided on the actual size.
You know, honestly, I think it had something to do with the paper, and in terms of that size, you want to leave a little white space. That gives people options to do things with them. I think. I don't know. It just fell into place. It could have been bigger, and I don't know. And it could be. It's not like it's interesting the way this works. It seems to break the rules, and I'm breaking the rules right from the very beginning. I'm doing all the things I was trained not to do, and you'd think you'd end up with a bunch of grainy information, but I think I'm piling pixels on top of pixels. That's the only thing. I think you can do this with film. It would probably break you in terms of financially, I'm sure.
That's what I was going to ask you actually. Do you feel at this stage, you've been doing this for a while, do you have a sense where you're gaining control of it, or is there still always a surprise?
No, it's not like a bunch of happy accidents. No, you start to push the technique. I noticed the very first ones I was doing, they ended up being kind of a sweep of some kind. But I was at the point where I wanted to change directions, and that's where I ended up with things like this. And that's done on purpose. But I don't think I could say that's exactly what I saw. I'm using the camera as a light brush, is what it is. It's so fulfilling because this is what I wanted to do back in the film days for a long, long time. You know, you get that odd shot that, I don't know, the end of the roll where you move the camera or something and oh wow, there's a person in there, they're blurry. I like that.
The interesting thing on your roll of film was the one
In a sense, it's kind of like I think I felt like I was kind of revolting against something, right? Like I said in the beginning, I'm doing all these photos and they're in focus, most of them, you know, and you're doing these things and you're thinking, I'm kind of tired of that. I'm tired of it. I kind of wanted to push, and the thing is, the challenge is you want to keep going. You want to go, okay, where do I go from here? I know I'll continue with this. I'm actually working on some things that are in focus, but you know, which is, you know, if you look back at my history of art photography, I'm pretty well into the blurry stuff. And I love it. It's, and the beauty of it, it is photography. It is coming out of a camera. That's the interesting thing. Like if you look in the corner piece over there, 60,000 miles. Everybody has their take on that. I've had everything from is that a fossil or is it a leaf? I think the leaf thing comes up quite a bit. It's not even close, you know, but the title is pretty accurate. And it's not the #1 highway. Someone said that the other day.
You have all the straight face, somebody does get it, like.
You know, I think at the other show, someone did say something. And I'm not sure if I gave it to them, but I think and you know, there was one title, Red Bike. Okay, that's a pretty good giveaway. But it didn't look like a red bike. But I guess you know, if someone had one and they said, well, that title's intriguing. Who is that guy? Might look it up. It makes people work a little bit, but you know, they're pretty cryptic. Mostly pretty cryptic. But I think that, you know, I've been pretty good about some of the titles in terms of what I felt it was and appropriate titles. But there's no Moonrise over San Hernandez or anything like that. There's none of those. I don't want anybody to say that's a sunset or a landscape. You might like landscape on Mars.
Is there a film of curtain involved here or not?
Is that curtain?
Yeah.
Not at all. No. It's transfer of energy. And you know, that's exactly what it is.
It's just like what's looking behind that, you know. It is like.
Yes, you know, and you might say that it's not a curtain at all.
So I don't really want to pin it down.
No, there's no curtain involved in that at all. No. I think somehow too the softness of them tends to work really well for them, you know. And I don't know, and that's obviously got something to do with what's going on the camera.
Are you at a point now where you can actually visualize something? I mean, will you see a scene and think, oh, okay, if I do this, will that be the result?
Well, you know what it is? It's a lot about what you choose. You get pretty good at color and light. You get really good at. Oh, look at that. That's something laying in the alley, but I love the way those two colors are working together. So
I just thought this could be a whole new way of how you start seeing once you start doing this and seeing.
Yeah, I think absolutely. You get good at that, but I don't think you'll ever say, okay, that's this here. If you look closer, there's a triangle in here. That took me a while to even see that after it was printed. I looked at that and then I thought, oh, and then someone came along and said, well, is that a pier? No, it's not a pier. To me, it kind of looks like a children's book cover or something. I don't know. If you're looking at it, but the thing is, in a sense, I've ruined it for myself in a sense because I know what these are.
So do you still, when you look at them, do you dominantly see the object, or does the object start to fade for you? I'm beginning to see past the object. I'm starting to see this nice visual square. That's what I'm seeing.
So when you look at all of us, what do you see?
Isn't that really still? I'll get my camera. But can you stand over by the red one?
You said you print full frame once in the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Do you change the orientation, or as they're displayed, is that like, are those all vertical photographs, or were some of them horizontal? But when you printed them, you thought they worked better vertically?
Yeah, that's the way it is. Yeah. That one is obvious. I think that's the most obvious one in the room. But I like it. And that's maybe a way to do it. Is back off a little bit and go, I know what that is, and so do you. I'm sure we all do, right?
Absolutely.